Moses Kuria supervised and orchestrated my abduction and delivered me to the hands of Maina, the women rep for Muranga. She is the one who personally shaved me, stripped me naked, squeezed my private parts, took humiliating photos of me. I identified her and asked her by name, Betty Uraje Koguoneki. And she was very scared about it.
A desperate government does more harm to itself than good. Some measures that they take, at some points, they drag them behind, attacking their opponents, all in the name of, we have the power. We are the one who have the deep state. You know what happens? Like for this case, kama yenye imehappen hivi juzi, in all Kalau by-elections, like during the preparation of the by-election primaries, Kuria or Kalau, there is this guy by the name Njohi, who is actually vying for, I think, member of parliament in Kinangop. But this time round, he was campaigning for the by-elections that had to take place, or that took place just the other day in all Kalau. You know what happened? This guy was abducted. I know what he's claiming. He was abducted by people that are very well known to him. He has come out boldly, strong, and what he is claiming is that these people walikuwa wanamnyemelea siku kadhaa zilizopita, like 20 hours ago, according to what he has as evidence. Amesema he went to clubbing, like walikuwa wanaenda kukula nyama choma pahali, wakatoka hapo, then wakaenda to a certain hotel in town, na pale after the abduction, after he was released from the people who had abducted him, alirudi pale kuangalia. And how stupid can people be? Mnaenda kwa mahoteli, you are doing all this shit, na mnajua kuna cameras. Like these opposition people, like the opposition, the alternative government, they seem to be like, one step ahead of you guys. It's very awkward, it's very weird and stupid at the same time. Wakati mna trail mtu, mnafuata mtu, but you are just leaving your images behind. These hotels have got, they have records, they have CCTVs. And this guy amekuja na akasema, he went back after being released, akarudi kwenye alikuwa. He knows quite well where he was. And these guys knows well where this guy was as they were trying to trail him. I know what happened. Alienda pale kwa zile hoteli, view zile CCTV footages, akaona how it was planned 20 hours before the actual event of abduction took place in all Kalau. Mambo ingine serikali inafanya, it is costing itself. It is a shame, to be very honest. I'll play a video for you to see what happened and exactly what this guy has to say. But before I do that, if you like what Big K Media is doing, kindly subscribe, press that notification bell, so anytime that we upload any new updates, you will be the first person to be notified. Don't forget also to like for this to trend and to be seen, or to reach so many people as possible. Thank you so much. Here's the video.
After my recollections of the events of the day and the previous day, I have come to realize that I actually survived the abductions almost some 20 hours earlier. On Thursday, at around 11:45, I remember that evening we had dinner with Shaban Geshohe, Wamboi Nyoto, a friend of mine by the name Garoya from Gatondo North, JJ Morege. We had dinner on Thursday evening and left a nyama choma eatery joint called Makuti at around 11:45. Then my friend, this guy here, his name is Joroge, and I and Garuya and another guy by the name Ben decided to shift to a different location and have one more beer for the road. However, I decided to enter a hotel in town called 818 and say hi to a friend and have a small talk. I have gone to that 818 hotel and I have reviewed the CCTV footage for that evening. At around 11:58 in the PM, that is when I entered 818 hotel. However, I did not realize I'm being trailed. Right behind me is a Subaru, a gray Subaru. That around three guys, one hooded and two others, very huge, followed me immediately. I entered the hotel, talked to whoever I was talking to, walked out. Where I walked, at the point of walking out, I was speaking to Njoroge and I was telling him, hapa sio mbele. When I stepped out of this hotel, one of my abductors to be was there. And he talked to me, akaniambia na hapa ni mbele. We had a small exchange of words, like for 3 seconds. I noticed unajua jamaa he puffed himself. Nikajua hapa au jamaa ako na maneno. Na because me I never wanted to confront anyone, I just walked out. Outside the gate of that hotel, I found the OCS for Kalau, Madam Wairimo, and some officers there, about 6 or so officers, and a Land Cruiser there, standing outside the gate. And the OCS stopped me. And she asked, Njohi, mbona unapiga kelele? I told her, mimi sijapiga kelele, ni huyu jamaa ako hapa, amesema hapa sio mbele. Na mimi nikamwambia ni kweli hapa sio mbele, maneno itatendeka vile tunataka sababu hapa ni nyumbani. I noticed these officers wenye wako na huyu OCS, wameanza kupanuka kidogo like they want to surround me. Now at this point, it's me, Njoroge, and a friend of mine called Ben. So mimi nikachomoka, nikajipea shughuli. Unknown to me, as this is going on, Moses Kuria is walking out of this hotel. Now I have seen the CCTV footage, all of it. Moses Kuria is walking out of this hotel together with my to-be abductors, one of the hooded guys, and everyone else. I've seen their faces. They came to the OCS and confronted her. Actually, they're asking her, why, how comes I have escaped that dragnet? Then they exchanged words for some time. A civilian who was standing by and who heard everything that was being said there actually told them, sasa mnauliza Njohi nini na hananga ubaya na mtu. The guy was clubbed senselessly by the cops. So Moses Kuria amesimama hapo supervising, and the OCS ameweka tu mkono kwa mfuko and her cops. Maskari wake wako hapo. They never did a thing to rescue this guy. Another one was beaten. This is CCTV footage, I have seen it. All of it, it's there. So when I entered a neighboring club there, these guys never pursued me into that club. However, Moses Kuria called me at 12:46 in the AM. He called me at 12:46 in the AM and asked me, Njohi, kwani uko wapi? Kamwambia mimi waziri niko hapa chini tu mahali hapa, hapo mahali yuko niko hapa chini. And he told me, sikuja tupige story hapa. I told her, Moses, I cannot come to you. Wewe kuja mahali niko.
It's like this government iko desperate kiasi that they are doing whatever they can manage to do within their power. But they are miscalculating every single day. In fact, they forget so easily that what happened to them for them to come in power back in 2022, wakati tulikuwa na regime ya Uhunye, people walikuwa wanaona kama Ruto alikuwa anafinyiliwa, alikuwa ametengwa, alikuwa anadhulumiwa. That is the reason why people came in, voted for him, because they felt like the government was actually oppressing them. It's like wamesahau, the more you attack someone who is opposing you, the more stronger they become politically. And now the problem again on hand is that we are living in a whole different era, an era of people who want change, people who have grown, and especially the Gen Z, who actually are learned, educated, and people who want the government to be ruled in their own way. And that's why it has become so difficult for this regime to just rule the way they want. There is no room for dictatorship in this country. And these things that we are now seeing are things that were witnessed during the Moise era, which seem to be having no room completely this time.
But UDA, or rather the government, has been doing actions whose net effect is to make DCP more popular. Example, violence meted on the people of the opposition. We saw Othaya church attack. The opposition went up. No one was arrested. We saw an attack in a church in Kariobangi. The opposition went up. We saw the other day attack on Senator Osotsi. The opposition went up. So I am not interested per se with what the opposition is doing. I'm more interested in what UDA or the government is doing to shoot itself on the foot and therefore strengthening the case for opposition. Exactly the same script that Jubilee deployed in the year 2022.
Njohi was attacked. You know, he's claiming that they stripped him na hata wakamdunga mafurumbanya na scissors. It is a shock, it is weird, and funny enough, anajua mwenye alimfanyia hivyo.
You know, we have been making fun that buttocks don't heal easily. Hata mimi nimeandika hiyo, we've been making fun that a wound in the buttocks does not heal easily. I want to tell you it is true. These guys punched me with scissors. I have a wound, 2 wounds that are almost 2 inches deep. And I don't know how long it will take to heal. Lakini nitajikaza tu. The things they did to me are so horrendous. These are things that almost even eroded into my masculinity. If I told you what I'm wearing on my back here to arrest the bleeding, you will not believe it. The things I'm using, because conventional dressing, wood dressing cannot work. My wife had to become creative to find other ways of arresting that bleeding. Lakini, ipo siku.
To be very honest, if Betty Maina indeed this is what happened, it is a shame. If what this guy is saying is true, you should be so much ashamed of yourself, because I don't think siasa zinafaa could take such, route to a point that you can hurt your very own, like attacking your very own, na unamdunga, huyu ni baba ya mtu bana, huyu ni mzee wa mtu, bwana ya mtu. He has his people. This guy is now using that against you. In fact, Kenya alikuwa anapigania yenye mnamzuilia kufanya wakati wa kumabduct and what you did to him, instead of kumpull behind, sasa ita propel and people are going to see that they are being attacked. I am not a politician myself, but of course I am doing analysis. You go with the wave. You have to see the flow of the wave. Sahi, majority of people, especially in Mount Kenya region, and of course the whole country as a whole, people are desperately in need of a change. They feel like this regime is not doing any good to them, and of course haitaenda hivyo mnafikiria. Listen to this guy.
I want to tell them this way. Moses Kuria and Betty Maina, holding naked photos of myself is not leverage. It is cowardice. You cannot shame a shameless person. I have been naked before in front of very many women. So, publishing photos of me naked is not something that can worry me. You need to understand, some of us come from very far to get where we are. I understand the risks of politics and the rewards. And these are things that I am ready for. Whatever you are holding is not leverage, my friends. It's cowardice. Publish them today. Publish them. That is not something that you can blackmail me with. Secondly, I'm very happy that I have known who my true enemies are. Those who have known me long enough will tell you one thing. Me, I don't carry grudges, wrath, vengeance, or hatred. I believe these are very heavy burdens to carry in one's heart. Mimi huwanga mtu roho safi sana. However, on this case, it's very exceptional. I know my enemies by name, and I'll carry I'm ready to carry this wrath to the last sunset of me on this earth. I know you by name, Moses Kuria and Betty Maina. And I'm very grateful for this new state-sponsored hairstyle. You can see it, the way it looks. I'm not going to shave it. I will wear it proudly, like a golden diadem. I will go to every village in Kinangop, Nyadaro and beyond, and I'll tell the people, it is Moses Kuria and Betty Maina who did this to me in attempt to silence me and shame me. It will not work for you guys the way you want it. I will proudly carry this new hairstyle. The only thing that you've managed to do is to evict me from the commonwealth of the unshaven. However, I'll stay rough like this, like a rough diamond. I have looked at photos of past liberators, the guys who fought for Mau Mau, General Baimungi, General Mwaliama, even Kemathi himself. They were not handsome looking guys. They were very tough looking guys. They didn't come with dimples and soft skins. They were battle hardened. Same case here. I will maintain this look. I will go to all funerals and tell the people ni Betty na Moses Kuria nifanyia hivi na serikali wakitaka niseme 2 term. And you can see the way they have shaved me. They were not there. You would imagine a donkey was grazing on my head. Jua punda anakula hapa, anauma pale kwingine. There's an illustration of how this administration, failed administration, does their thing. They are not known to complete any project. They could not even give me a decent shave. Lakini itakaa hivyo. The only people, by the way, you may have robbed something so much by saving me and my children because they loved that hair.
Perhaps you can tell us what actions are you...
My children loved that hair. Yes. They played with it a lot. They plaited it. Hata wakati nilifika nyumbani on Sunday, they asked, hey, baba umenyoa? Nikamwambia, na nani amekunyoa vibaya hivyo? I looked them in the eye, I told them, ni Ruto ameninyoa. This is administration. He's the one who has donated power, veto power, to reckless humans. Donating power to Moses Kuria and Betty Maina is like handing a gun to a baboon. This is some people who think an animal that can shoot recklessly and anyhow. But anyway, I'm fine with it. As for the police and the criminal justice system, I have very little faith in it and whether they will actually do anything. Those who have followed me long enough, you know very well I'm not very religious. There are many ways of seeking justice, and the unconventional ones are actually the best. I'll carry the burden in my heart. I will seek alternative justice resolution mechanisms, dispute resolution mechanisms, and I pray to God that He gives me a long life and keeps those characters alive for long. Tutakuwa tu na wao hapa.
Anyway, by the end of the day, this is my opinion. Let me see what you have to say down here at the comment section. This is BK Media Podcast. Thank you. See you in the next episode.